All right, what's up everybody? As promised, I'm gonna show off my Dragon Link deck profile. I mentioned in my first video that I had won a box tournament with this deck, and I wanted to wait a little bit longer before I posted the profile because there were a couple more tournaments that I wanted to use this deck in, and one of them, luckily, I managed to win this mat, which is really nice, so I kind of wanted to show it off. Another housekeeping thing I wanted to do as well is I wanted to say thank you to everyone who watched that first video. I think as of right now, it's almost at 500 views, which is literally insane. I was literally expecting about 10 views with like 6 of them being me. So it's incredible. Like I never would have thought I would have gotten that many views on that video. All the comments are super positive and I really appreciate them. So after this, if you want to check it out, or if this is the second video of mine you watched, thank you either way. It's truly incredible and I really appreciate it, especially just starting my channel. Like it's phenomenal. So big thank you to all of you. But let me show you all what I promised I would. So 3 Tracer, 2 Synchron, 1 Recharger. So I'm gonna try and go through all this pretty fast. One thing I will say is I think this is pretty standard. This is the package I like. I like 3 Tracer. It works out for me well. I never want to, I feel like if I play 2, I'm always going to want the 3rd. It's just perfect. This is the perfect ratio. I don't see any reason to change this. The next cards, which I see some people playing less of, is 3 Safer. I saw a couple people cutting this to 1 and then playing the little black metal package. The only reason I haven't, and I understand the reasoning, is because technically this card like hard loses to Droll. And that's becoming a lot more prevalent this format because Droll's, is so good this format. But I'm going to show you why I play this instead, and I don't play any of the little black metals in this deck at all. Along with this is 2 Abs. I think if you're playing this, you need to play 2 of these. But at the time I'm recording this, I have tested a build with 1. I'm not really sure if I like it yet, but for the 2 tournaments that I won for the box in this map, I played 2 and it worked out well. It's even better when you play the 3 Safert. So I think it's, this worked out great for me. I maybe bricked on it once. And then to go along with these 2 Nocto, I've been the biggest fan of 3 for so long, but I finally cut it down to 2, and it actually worked out well. This card helps extend and break boards in so many ways, and getting that extra draw it comes up every single time. Like it's insane. Like this card's mandatory. I wish I had the space for 3. This is a 41 card deck. I actually double checked to make sure it was 41 cards and not 40 like the last video, but yeah, I did have to make a couple cuts, and unfortunately Nocto's one of them, but it ended up working out pretty well. Next, so for 1 Levy, mandatory of course. 1 big hot red dude, 1, and 1. These all work out fine. No need to run more. This package is perfect right here. There are times where I wish I had a 3rd Tiding, but it's totally not worth running a 2nd chamber for all that, in my opinion. This format is really anti-Dragon Link right now, and sometimes having a disruption that's not in the form of an onboard negate that can get Dark Ruler or something like that is great. So this package has been working fine for me. No, please bring these back to 2 or 3. Like, oh my god, this deck would be nuts. So next section of this deck is actually, I believe there's about a 9 to 12 card kind of flex spot in all Dragon Link decks. So I haven't played Dragon Link for like the longest time. I got on this deck probably about, I don't know, 3 months ago or so. And so I had to learn a lot about like how to sequence combos and stuff like that. And I noticed in a lot of profiles that there is that 9 to 12 card flex spot that people have, and it's usually 9 hand traps, and then the other 3 are, let's say, like a Talents or Droplet. I had tried out Droplet for a while, but when everyone kind of figured out how Sword Soul works and pretty much solved Bird Up, it seemed like the Dark Rulers and Talents just weren't good anymore. So my idea of how to play this deck was to max out on hand traps, and I'll explain why. So 3 Nibiru, it's just an incredible card. It's a blowout. and I pair the necessary hand traps with the Nibiru's to basically get the most out of it, and I'll explain why. So 3 Nib, 3 Veiler, 3 Crow, and then also 3 Gamma, and of course the driver. So my whole theory is because this deck just hard loses to Protoss, and pretty much every Sword Soul deck mains that, you're basically running a risk even playing Dragon Link, because a lot of the time you can just auto lose game 1, especially if they know what you're playing. Then they're just going to prioritize Protoss, and then they're just going to call Dark and, you know, GG's. I wanted to, the way to circumvent that in my eyes was to play more hand traps and then cut the droplets or the talents and stuff like that, because particularly against Sword Soul, I want to stop them from playing and letting them get to the Protoss, or even if they wanted to Protoss, make sure they have 0 resources. If they just want to sit on that and, you know, top deck 1 card, that's fine, because I can just put up a Seal or something, or a Tiding, and, you know, we're cherry. But these are the best hand traps to pair with Nib as far as Gamma and Veiler go. The Crows, though, what I decided to kind of tech in, I never truly realized how hard this deck loses to DPE also. I noticed in my last profile, when I played my Invoke deck with DPE, when I would test against Dragon Link, I was like, wow, this card just destroys this deck. Like, that recurable pop every single turn is just insane. And even in some Sky Striker mirrors, or Sky Striker games, like, Crow just puts in work against that. And so I was like, okay, well, it's a dark first off, and I wanted to synchronize better with my Chaos Spaces. So that's 1 plus. 2, it hits DPE, which really hurts this deck. 3, as more people get on Sky Striker, you know, I can DD Crow Ray. This card has put in so much work, and of course it hits Bird Up and stuff like that. Like, this card's incredible. If you know the matchup, like whether it's like a Virtual World or something like that, which it might not seem like a high impact hand trap, if you know the matchup well, you know like when to hit what, if you want to hit a Queen Long or not, if they don't have another way to get another one, or if you have to hit a Nyan for some reason. But Crow's insane. For the remainder of this format, I'm going to be playing this card. It's just insane. I'd like to play Droplets or Towns or something like that, but with Protoss running around, it really makes no sense. Like, we just need as many going second cards as, you know, possible, and they all synergize perfectly together with Chaos Space. So as of right now, I think this package is literally perfect. I would not change any of these for anything. This is totally perfect in my eyes. So that's it for the hand traps. So now go for the spells. So for the spells, it's pretty much standard. 3 quick launch. Let's get these out. 3 quick launch, standard, and then 3 chaos space, of course, standard as well. And then the boot and ravine. There's nothing much to say about this. This card's insane. If this card ever gets hit, this deck is just gonna take such a huge hit, like borderline unplayable in my eyes. But this is just all standard for Dragon Link. All right, and like I said, this is a 41 card main deck. So next I'm gonna go over the extra. So of course the 1 of Striker, Pisty, 2 Seal. Standard, there's nothing more to say about this. When it comes to the Dragon League extra deck, I noticed that a lot of the time, like, the extra decks are pretty much the same on every single profile, and you kind of understand why as you play this deck more. But I'll kind of show you a couple changes I made with this, and then what I plan on testing in the future. But for this list, you know, Romulus, triple burst, quad boral. One thing I will say about this is as you get better with the deck, you only need 1, but there have been so many situations in which a second has just come up way more than like a triple burst. And I'm highly debating on trying a second one of these, because this card's just so good in this format, and people would never expect a second quad boral. And so that's something I'm debating on testing just to try it out, but it's just worth mentioning. But as for this 2 tournaments, I just did that. Unicorn, Access Code, Appaloosa, IP. These are just in different sleeves because they're in a different deck right now, but finally got my Access Code back again. So this card has won me so many games so far. I think I've made Appaloosa maybe, I want to say like 3 times. It is truly one of those cards that doesn't come up until it comes up. I want to cut this. If I played a second quad boral just to test, I would either take out this or triple burst, probably triple burst, just because it doesn't come up enough, and I feel like I don't really need that battle phase effect. You know, it doesn't really come up as much, especially when I main crows against Sky Striker. IP's mandatory. Yeah, whenever these do come up, they come in clutch, but I don't think they're like absolutely needed. And then 3 of the best synchros, just incredible. The day this gets hit as well, if this ever gets banned, like I don't know what this deck would need some kind of crazy support card to still be playable, because this is just the heart and soul of the deck. And then for my 15th flex spot, I decided to play this. So surprisingly, I took out Boral Sword. I kind of played this as a meme, just because I was like, you know what, I never make Boral Sword. What else can I play? It was either going to be a rank 8, and then I was like, okay, well, let's play this, test it out. So basically, there were about 2 or 3 matches actually that were won because of this card. One of them, I think 2 of them actually were against a virtual world, where both of us were playing fast and we still went game 3, insane match. Time got called in the middle of the phase, and I had a combo line where I could make Savage with 1 negate before I went into this and tried to burn. And I remember it was my first time, you know, trying to do this line to summon this. I'd never summoned it, but I was like, oh, sweet, I think I can win. So I combo, I get Savage on board with like Striker, using Striker for the counter. And then I reread this card and I'm like, oh, wait, it doesn't get rid of itself. And then Savage is at 35. And so I changed my combo sequencing like mid-line, if you want to say like that. And basically what I did was I went into a quad boral play instead. I wasn't going to have to do that to get into this, but I did anyway. Use the effect just to pitch a Tidying that I had in hand so I could reborn a chamber that was already engraved just to get another body that was under 3,000 to use this effect. And that's what ended up winning me the match. So it is worth noting that I have, for the 2 tournaments I played this version of the deck, I went undefeated. I was XO 10, I think it was 10 wins, 0 losses. Yeah, both tournaments were 5 rounds. So surprisingly, this card is coming clutch. There have actually been a couple times where I could have made this, not even for like because I was going into time, but just because I needed to get rid of some stuff on the board. So yeah, I'm still testing this out. I like it so far. It's coming clutch. So as of right now, I'm not going to cut that. So for the side, we're still playing 3 Cyclones. Just like with my other profile I made, this is the best back row hate card in my opinion. I want to banish cards. I want to banish, you know, Sky Shark cards, Eldritch cards. No one's really on back row at any of the locals I go to. Everyone's on combo. Everyone's on meta. Like, it's really just PK, Bird Up, Sword Soul, and then just the randoms like a Flunder here and there and stuff like that. And in all those matchups, I value this card a lot. So, you know, it's been perfect. 3 Evenly, still on this as well. I've actually been debating cutting this card for something else because, one, just because I play 12 hand traps in the main. There's not a lot of back row at any of the locals I go to. And honestly, I think I could really just get away with these and, you know, something else on my side, you know, just to try out. Once the new format starts and everyone goes back to like just playing like Invoked variants and back row decks, then I'll probably go back to this. But I'm going to test taking out Evenly. We'll just leave these here. Next we have is 3 Chalice. So the only difference is this was actually, what's it called? Appointers. These were appointers in the first match for the Win-A-Box. And actually, it actually came up in my round 1 where I managed to full combo and then I appointed my opponent in their draw phase or in their standby, whatever it was. And I looked at their hand and they only had 1 card that could have done anything to my board. And that's why I ripped it. They had nothing. I negated every card that had to be negated. And then they passed IOTK. But for the second one, I forgot how bad this deck loses to the Invoke Shit All Dogmatica deck, just like the ones that I posted. And I needed more hate against those decks just in case I play one, because I noticed that there were a couple of players on it and I just hadn't been paired with them. And I was like, okay, well, you know, I need something else to hit a Winda or a Macabre or something like that. And so I chose to play these, and these came in clutch. 3 token collectors. So unlike in my past profile, I actually did draw this card and actually got to test it out. Came in clutch, really. I wanted a card that I could keep in going first and second against Sword Soul. Because Protoss and just that entire deck's line of play, like when you play a good Sword Soul player, you can break almost any board. Like that deck is just phenomenal. It's so hard to stop that. You need this and like a hand trap and a gate and maybe something else if they open. Just all engine. You know, it's almost impossible for them not to break the board and even OTK through it. So every time I drew this, I won. It's just a phenomenal card. And then of course 3 Droll. Still such a great card. It hurts my deck, it hurts Bird Up, it hurts every deck. It's just a blowout, and you just need to play it. One thing I will say, though, is I have tested with Lancia, and if I do post another Dragon Link deck profile, if I take it to like another tournament and win, because this side's going to look different from here on out. From today's video on, this side's going to be different. But I will give you kind of like a sneak peek, if you want to say. I will be playing Lancias. Even though it's standard, not really a standard card to put in against Sword Soul, in Dragon Link, I believe you do side that in, going first or second, because at the end of the day, all you need to do is prevent Protoss from coming out, because that card is such a blowout against this deck that I'd rather draw Lancia than like a token collector or anything like that, because I can break a board of, you know, Shishao Trap and Baron or something like that. But I literally probably cannot break a board of just Protoss. They could literally just sit on Protoss and win, which is insane to me. So hopefully that card gets banned here in the next like week and a half. But for future tournaments that I'm going to be playing until the new list, there will be 3 Lancias in here. I just haven't decided what I want to cut. I might keep the Chalices in and these, but these right here are kind of like the iffy spots to put in Lancia. So yeah, that's the deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I just really want to reiterate again, there's so many positive comments on that first video, and I never would have thought I would have gotten that many views. Like I said, like I might even hit 500 views on that video today, which is just phenomenal. Like, it's incredible. Even on all the Facebook profiles or Facebook pages, everyone's been like super supportive and like leaving feedback, constructive criticism and stuff like that. I did order something to help with like the camera setup. So hopefully the next profile I'll make, you know, it'll look a little cleaner. Yeah, shout out to my girlfriend for recording the video. I hope you guys like this deck. Please leave comments. I'm in love with Dragon Link. I really want to get better at this deck. I've been feeling myself lately because I've been doing really well with this deck. I went to a tournament yesterday, and luckily one of my boys just totally humbled me. He just totally wrecked me with Sword Soul, and I was like, fuck yeah. Like, it's just one of those things, like, man, I needed that, because I was really feeling myself with this deck. Like, I could just break through anything, and it really helps to lose because you get to realize, okay, well, how can I prevent this from happening next time? And so that's why the side is going to change so drastically. Maybe I can even get a profile of his deck. But yeah, this deck's so fun. I hope nothing gets hit. If anything, I hope we get like Eclipse Wyvern or something like that back. But other than that, that's the video, and I hope you all enjoy it, and stay tuned for the next one. Peace.